I'm here today with Alexander Jenkins, who is an integrative psychotherapist, a game designer and a teacher, and also my beloved partner. Welcome, my darling.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So the first question I wanted to ask you was about the Mankind Project, the MKP weekend, which you recently returned from. And I can see and know through being with you how much that gives you. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if you could just share a bit about that work.
Definitely. So the MKP or Mankind Project, is a group who wish to provide what Robert Bly considers as missing from our modern culture, which is men's initiations into manhood. And they're basically trying to create a community that holds a representation of the healthy masculine. Wow. And they do that by inviting men to go on an initiation weekend, which includes really beautiful experiential parts, which I can't go into too much about because part of the purpose of the secrecy is the kind of like altered state that men get put in through not knowing. But it's basically like a hero's journey into owning the archetypes of the king, warrior, magician, and lover.
Wow. I guess what I'm wondering is, what is it that weekend gives you as a man?
Well, connection with men, brotherhood. The weekend I've just come back from, I was staffing the weekend as opposed to being an initiate, so it was a bit of a different perspective on the weekend, being a staff man and being a step back from the ongoings of the new men who have no idea what's coming, but I still get to be involved in different parts of the processes during the weekend. So it's a revisitation to my own weekend, my own initiation, which includes touching back on some of those archetypal forces that I can say that I first discovered during my own weekend. Like maybe I intellectually understood them through reading, say, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, but only through the weekend did I really get a chance to kind of go like, oh, I feel you, I see you, and I am you now, and embody those qualities. There's some really powerful energies there.
Which of those energies is one that you're working on at the moment?
I think the warrior is definitely the one that I feel like I'm not completely embodying. I feel like I'm very naturally a lover, which
you are.
thank you. Which has its great qualities, but I guess for me in my personal life, the warrior isn't expressing in the way that I don't have strict routines or like the warrior attitude is very disciplined and knows where he's going, and he has the guidance of the king and the realm and the rules of the land and the warrior code, and it's like upholds it all and do the things that need to be doing and action with full vitality and force and goes for it. And in its healthiest form, it's I'm reminded of the samurai who never draw their blades unless it's absolutely necessary. So it's like they've still got a lot of discipline and they could kill if they needed to, but it's sort of last resort. So and I like that analogy for being like, okay, I still have my lover's heart in with my warrior. But yeah, I guess the warrior is definitely the one that I am looking for more of in my life.
It's like I can really feel it when you're talking about it, the energy of the warrior, like the integrity and the measured action, and it's hot.
Good to know.
And why is it, or what is it about this work these archetypes that is needed for society?
Well, the modern society, in my opinion, has a lot of unhealthy warrior and unhealthy king energy in it already. And I think personally, my falling so far into the lover archetype growing up was almost like my rejection or rebellion, unconsciously mostly, of that unhealthy warrior and that patriarchal kind of king energy as well. So yeah, the weekend is a new warrior training weekend, because it's giving men who are either coming from maybe more like how I've described, of being lover and soft and a bit more meek and less warrior, but also for people who have too much of that warrior energy and are more like forceful and abusive and oppressive and unhealthy, and showing us what it's like to have balance. And the beautiful thing is, because all these different men come, that there is a really beautiful representation of the different qualities of masculine, and the different energies are all there to sit with in the weekend and experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a celebration and a coming into the healthy archetypes. Like there's the unhealthy and there's the healthy.
Yeah, that's the intention for sure.
Yeah. And as well as you're speaking about rejecting the warrior archetype because of how unhealthy it's expressed today. It's like this work is saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Definitely,
it's like this is a powerful, beautiful energy, like a forceful energy, and it can be used with so much love. Like, let's bring it back. Let's
Totally.
It really inspires me.
The work just continues, there's all this, the weekend's like a taster of touching the shadow that we all have, and then the ongoing work is focusing more, bringing more light to it, focusing more on allowing that to heal, and there's always ongoing work to do.
And what a gift to have a community to support you in your ongoing work.
Yeah, definitely.
Something that's sparking my interest is the shadow work that you were mentioning. And I'm just wondering if you could tell me what shadow work means for you and why is it important?
So yeah, the shadow work is being mindful of my actions in the world, and trying to be as mindful as possible with my actions in the world, to spot what I'm doing that is unconscious and a reaction, and to face it and to say, okay, I see you, tell me what gifts you have for me. Because the beautiful thing about exploring shadow is there's always gold to be found there. And like you're saying, with not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, the shadow warrior is the warrior that, in my experience, I've pushed away. But like you're saying, there's a beautiful gift in that energy if it's only claimed and embodied in a healthy way.
So where would one start with that? Like, how is it firstly noticing what you're rejecting, what things that you have resistance to, or?
Could be. I think a really good place to start is through personality types and personality models, because it's often very hard to see ourselves if we have no mirror. And the world is a beautiful mirror, but only if we're looking. And so personality types are a really good way of seeing ourselves, even if it's just cognitively. At first we're reading about our type, and through that, often personality typing systems will have advice for the type that you might find yourself to be. But it's a good start, at least. And some of the best personality types, in my opinion, encourage an exploration of all the different areas. So it's not just like you're this type and you're stuck with that. It's like this type is what you've learned to be, but you're not limited to this type. This is just this is your comfort zone. This is the place you've most experienced in. But there's all these other types as well that you can that have gifts for you that you can try on and claim some of their expertise.
Absolutely. I know for me, like, it's so scary to go outside of the comfort zone of my personality. And that's something I really appreciate about you, is that you invite that. Sometimes you say, what would it be like for you to say, I'm not enjoying this conversation, I want to just leave, which to me is like, oh, I'll hurt someone's feelings, like, it's so scary.
But that's how you find shadow, is by like someone offering you that and being like, oh yeah, if I was to say that, then yeah, what's the risk for me? How would it kill me or hurt me in some way?
Yeah, and that's a real gift of relationships, and as people being your mirrors and saying, I'm noticing this, what would it be like to try this polarity that I've never seen happen before? Yeah, deep listening and also willingness on both sides, you know? It's like you can offer me these invitations to look deeper, but if I'm not willing, then it's not going to go anywhere, really. Because I feel like I can't see all the parts of myself. Like, that's why it is my shadow. It's like, I need help, I do, but I have to be willing to hear the things that are hard to hear, you know. Like, something that we were exploring in the car earlier today was solar plexus strength. And for both of us, that's a part we need to develop more. And it's like identity and beliefs and holding strong in the face of discussion and other people's opinions.
Yeah, and that's a really powerful warrior for me as well, is that like boundary strength. So the warrior and solar plexus energy is like, okay, this is me, this is my truth, this is my space. High warrior energy is like, this is my truth and this is me, and take it all, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can sit with this here and I can be happy here, and yet people can approach me and knock on my door and be like, hey, I would love a conversation with you and we can exchange. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
I really like the way that you put that metaphor. Just like you're staking your ground, like here you are really centered, like vertical. You're not leaning in, like pushing. You're not like taking the blow of someone else's beliefs. You just warrior. Yeah, I love that.
I've always been really interested in meta maps and models that are created through synthesizing all these different other models together. Something that I'm working on right now is a video game that I want to be a experiential exploration of these different models, a representation through characters and narrative and the hero's journey, and interesting conflicts, and a representation of a dialectic of different ideas and the evolution of human culture through spiral dynamics. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to fit into it, but I feel like it's actually quite simple in the way that it could all come together. Like some kind of transition from modern culture to freedom from suffering.
Wow. It sounds like that game encapsulates so much. And it's ultimately a call to adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, something that excites me about it is the way it makes personal growth and exploration accessible to people that maybe it wouldn't be accessible to, and fun, and like, what a gift.
Thank you. Yeah, I really hope that for it as well.
And Alexander, what is it that makes you come alive?
What makes me come alive is exploring with people. Yeah, it's like being in co-creation with each other's experience. It's about connecting with someone in an inspired and animated way where we're both on the same team to kind of find something new and inspiring within each other's experience.
I want to ask one more question, and that is, what is your vision for an ideal world?
Good question. I really love the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist movies image of freeing humanity from the ultimately pointless jobs and work that we have to do, and gifting the time and space and resources for doing all the work that we really want to do. If we utilize, I think energy is the big issue, if we utilize energy well, and all the different options for harvesting energy and creating energy. I think the survey says that we could, if properly harvested, of wave power, hydroelectric power, geothermal energy, solar energy, if we properly harvested all that, we'd have more than enough energy. We'd have, more than enough energy.
So freeing up people's time and energy, and freeing up renewable energy so people could spend their days and their lives engaging in things that they're really choosing, not because they have to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alexander, for talking to me.
Thank you.
I really light up when I hear your ideas for your own self-growth, but also for the direction of the world. So thank you.
Thank you.